Okay, but during one of my English projects here at school, I wrote a position paper, and during this position paper, I found a very interesting argument. Of course, there's a lot of pushback when it comes to different type of programs. There's a lot of different arguments. That's just the reality of the cases. But in this specific scenario of restorative justice, one of the main arguments that I found interesting was the fact that if any program, not just restorative justice, but if any program is not implemented properly, it's pretty much useless, very useless. Um, and I do agree that with any program that is made or any type of framework that is made to push any type of justice or to honestly address any issues in any communities, if not applied properly, then it's practically useless. That program can actually make the pain of those communities larger, which is why you have to be careful when implementing those type of different programs to different areas. Like, you want someone who has lived in those communities. You want someone who is impacted by the issues. You want someone who is educated on the topic so that they know how to implement it. And you do not want only one person to be the person achieving this. You will need multiple people to have like a diverse community and diverse results. Of course, it does not only take one try to get things right. You have to be willing to do it, start over again, and keep going. But what is important is the people in authority need to be people who care about these issues. It needs to be people who are impacted, and it needs to be people who have lived that life. And with that being said, I have 5 steps of successfully implementing restorative justice. And these 5 steps are completely objective, and it can be changed and applied to different communities. This is only like a general framework. This is not all that it takes. So once again, I have my notes and I will be looking down once and again. So the first part, I would say that restorative justice is a collaborative process that involves multiple people, like I mentioned again. Engaging with all people involved, meaning since it is a community focused project, it has to involve the community. The community has to be willing to share their perspectives and make sure that their needs are heard and addressed. And a way to do this is really to just, like, the people that are in the authority have to be engaging with the community below, because in this system we don't want it to be a top to bottom approach. We want it to be a bottom to top approach, meaning it starts with the people and then gets to the authority. The authority do whatever they need to do, and then it works its way down to the people. That is how it works. The framework has to be a bottom top approach. It cannot be a top to bottom approach. That does not create change, certainly when it comes to social justice communities and issues such as this. Restorative justice program should have clear policies and procedures that are very consistent with the restorative justice principles. Those principles, there's multiple principles. I'm not going to list it in this video, but there's multiples, and it needs to be aligned with these policies that are being installed in these communities. Once again, communicating these policies and procedures to the communities member involved is really important, because we don't want any misunderstandings to arise. And once again, we want it to be as efficient as possible. Number 3, we have provide adequate training and support. And as I mentioned before, which is one of the reasons why I myself I got trained in this, and I will be going into this type of thing, just because I see that there's a lack of such support in the market. And like, a lot of people of color don't know about it, but like, this is a way of solving communal issues, is by having people that have been impacted by those issues getting up and figuring out that there's multiple ways to solve issues, right? So providing adequate training and support to people in those communities so that they themselves can possibly help and make movements bigger and more forwards, right? So restorative justice facilitators should be trained in restorative justice principles. They should be they should know trauma-informed practices and cultural competence. And that's why I would say it's very important for, if a restorative justice facilitator is within a community, even if they are not someone impacted by the problem that that community is facing, they have to have cultural knowledge. They have to be culturally sensitive. If they lack that sensitivity, then they are going to make the problems that that community face much more harder, and that is not what we want. We are here to solve issues, we are here to communicate issues, and we are here to make it easier for these communities, right? So, and then training so training or support programs that can help facilitators be more effective. So yes, they should get more training. More people should be in this field, and more people should be getting training so that they are able to provide support to their communities. So now we are really getting into the implementation of the restorative justice process. So number 5 is, hold up, let me